In 1833, the man who helped invent the railway died so poor that factory workers had to collect money for his funeral. His name was Richard Trevithick, and while the world would soon race forward on steam, the man who proved it possible was almost forgotten. Trevithick was born on April 13, 1771, in Cornwall, England, a land of copper and tin mines. His father managed a mine, and Richard grew up surrounded by pumps, engines, smoke, and underground water. At school, he showed little interest in ordinary lessons, but machines fascinated him. Known locally as the Cornish Giant, he believed steam could do far more than anyone imagined. At the time, most steam engines were enormous machines fixed beside mines. Engineers, such as James Watt, had improved them, but they used low-pressure steam and were too heavy for transport. Trevithick chose a bolder path. He developed smaller engines using high-pressure steam. Critics feared stronger pressure could cause boilers to fail. Trevithick saw power compact enough to move. On Christmas Eve in 1801, near Camborne, he demonstrated a steam road vehicle, later remembered as the Puffing Devil. It climbed a hill carrying passengers. For a brief moment, a machine moved people without horses. But the vehicle never became a successful business, and the experiment faded from attention. Then came the journey that should have made him famous forever. In 1803, ironmaster Samuel Humphrey invited Trevithick to the Penydarren Iron Works in Merthyr Tydfil, South Wales. Humphrey wanted to know whether one of his engines could pull heavy wagons along iron rails. A wager was made. The locomotive had to carry 10 tons of iron to the canal at Abercynon. On February 21, 1804, the strange machine began its 9-mile journey. Smoke rose from the chimney, gears turned. 5 wagons followed, loaded with iron, while dozens of men climbed aboard. The engine moved at roughly 5 miles an hour. It was slow by modern standards, but it was a revolution. For the first time, a steam locomotive had hauled a train along rails over a measured journey. Yet success revealed a serious problem. The locomotive was too heavy for the cast-iron track. Rails cracked beneath it, and mechanical trouble delayed the return. The machine was later used as a stationary engine. Trevithick had proved steam rail travel could work, but the rails and investors were not ready. In 1808, he tried again. Near Euston Road in London, he built a circular track and displayed a locomotive called Catch Me Who Can. Paying passengers rode behind it, one of the earliest public railway experiences in history. But delays discouraged visitors, and the fragile track failed again. The exhibition closed, and Trevithick turned away from locomotives. His restless mind moved from project to project. He worked on engines for factories, ships, dredging machines, and mining. In 1816, he traveled to Peru, where his engines were used in silver mines high in the Andes. He spent years in South and Central America, facing difficult journeys and failed plans. When he returned to England in 1827, he had little money. By then, railways were transforming Britain. Other engineers, especially George Stephenson, built stronger and more successful systems. Their names became linked with the railway age. Trevithick, the man behind the historic journey, struggled to find support. In 1828, a proposal for a government pension was rejected. Illness finally struck him in Dartford, Kent. Trevithick died on April 22, 1833, aged 62. He left no fortune. Workers from a nearby engineering company collected money for his funeral, and he was buried in an unmarked grave. The tragedy is not that Trevithick failed, it is that he succeeded before the world knew how to reward him. His engines showed that steam could leave the mine, take to the road, and pull weight across rails. The railway century followed, carrying people, goods, and ideas across nations. Trevithick did not live to see how far his vision would travel. But every train carries a distant echo of the forgotten Cornish inventor who made the impossible move. If you enjoy stories like this, please follow for more hidden history and untold stories from around the world.